probably deaf also and dumb, and believe that this is a good thing, that she's doing it for her friend, but she's being inconsiderate. She's running away from you, and she's not living up to her responsibility as a wife and a mother. Her friend is co-asshole. He is wimp. Pussy, wimp. I don't know what is there other words for these type of men besides these words? Maybe they're doing drugs or something. There could be some underlying story there that we don't know. They could be using drugs, could be, who knows, maybe they're sleeping in the same bed.
Am I the asshole for dropping my kids off with my wife while she was with her grieving friend? My wife's best friend lost her husband about a month ago. Since then, my wife has been at her house almost every day. Money is tight, and my job requires me to be on call some nights, so I can't turn work down. I understand her friend is grieving, but I've basically been a single parent this whole time. I've asked my wife to cut back, but she says I'm being heartless. Yesterday, I got called into work while I was on call. I couldn't leave our two daughters, who are 6 and 9, home alone. I called my wife and told her she needed to come home. She refused and told me to figure it out. We can't afford a babysitter. My parents live too far away. Her parents aren't allowed near the kids, and my friends all have their own families. So I packed up the kids and dropped them off at her friend's house on my way to work. My wife was furious. When I got home, we had a huge argument. I told her she needs to be a parent to our own kids and that I'm tired of her playing house at her friend's place while I'm stuck handling everything. She says I'm a heartless man. I told her she needs to show up for our children.
No, you're the wimp. You are what they call a pussy, a wimp. You have no masculinity. You're letting your wife walk all over you. You're working like a dog to support her. You're raising kids at the same time, and she's treating you like garbage. If you're not aware of this, and I understand, when you're in love, you're blind, probably deaf also, and dumb, and believe that this is a good thing, that she's doing it for her friend, but she's being inconsiderate. She's running away from you, and she's not living up to her responsibility as a wife and a mother. So you can do whatever you want. You can kiss her ass and beg her to come back and all of this, but she showed you a lot in this last month. She showed you she doesn't give one shit about you, and she doesn't care about her kids. And I don't even know what's going on with her and her girlfriend, but she couldn't be that depressed that she couldn't call her or speak to her via FaceTime or something like that, and just be basically the same friend on FaceTime. When my friends are depressed and they call me, I actually answer the phone, speak to them, and then I hang up. You don't have to sleep with someone day and night to make sure they're not depressed. So, when you're depressed and sad, it follows you wherever you go. You just can't run away from depression. Matter of fact, when somebody does something really terrible to me, and they did it in the past, sometimes I would take a plane or go visit someone. You know what? The anger, the hurt, the disappointment travels on the plane with you. Doesn't go away. So the asshole is her. Her friend is co-asshole. He is wimp. Pussy, wimp. I don't know is there other words for these type of men besides these words? These are the words I grew up by. Is there a new word for these type of men? I mean, you could be tired of something, and you could be upset with something, and you could be tired, but that's her kids, and you're making money and paying the bills. Here's your job. I pay the bills, I work like a dog, I take care of the kids, I work like a dog, I take care of the kids, I work like a dog, I take care of it. My wife is not home for 30 days. Do you think that's reasonable? Does anyone think that's reasonable? You know what? The new women of America probably think it's reasonable. It's not reasonable. She should be home. Those are her kids. Who's her responsibility to more? Her two kids or to her friend? If her responsibility is more to her friend than her two kids and her husband, it shows you where you are in the pecking order, and it's not high. You're really low on the totem pole. And if you're that low on the totem pole and you're the husband paying the bills, you're a putz. So, I mean, it's an opinion, and everybody has one, and that's my thinking on him. If my wife did that to me, and certainly I haven't been married and probably won't be, I would realize that she doesn't care about the family, she doesn't care about the kids, she don't care about me, because she should be home at least 2 nights a week and 3 nights a week, especially if it's an emergency situation. This wasn't like, he wasn't asking her to come home every night. This was an emergency situation where he was making money to support the family, and she didn't show up. As a matter of fact, contact the lawyer soon, because it's over, or it'll be over soon.
Am I the asshole for not wanting to stay at my in law's house over Christmas? My in laws live in Florida, and it's a 2-day drive from Missouri to get there. I told my wife I'd rather get a hotel instead of staying at their house because I don't feel comfortable there. That turned into a huge argument. She says I don't want to be part of her family, and that I'm basically the villain for saying anything negative about them. There's a lot of history, but the main issue is her dad has made me and our kids feel unwanted when we've stayed there before. It's not like he's a bad guy, but he really doesn't like interruptions to his normal routine. He seems to have some kind of undiagnosed OCD, and he gets stressed when people are in his space. He has literally told us in the past that we should stay at a hotel instead of his house. One time he even came to visit us for a week and left early because he wasn't comfortable being out of his routine. So when we stay at their house, I feel uncomfortable and unwelcome. My wife says I should just suck it up for a week because it's Christmas and she wants to stay with them. I told her I actually do love my in laws. I just think getting a hotel would give everyone space and make the trip less stressful. Am I the asshole?
No. Your wife is making an unreasonable demand. Your father-in-law doesn't really like to have company. He asks you to get a hotel room. He wants to be alone. You can see him. You could bring the kids and the wife to see him, and you don't have to sleep in his house. I don't think it's. I would prefer to immediately get a hotel room. I don't want to burden people and walk around their house and go to their refrigerator, use their bathroom, take a shower, beg for their towels. I don't want that. I don't know why he would. So I think the wife is trying to connect with her father and trying to, make it a real family thing like she was like when she was a little girl and they all were together and opened presents together and all of that. But if you're uncomfortable, then don't do it. When I go to Thanksgiving dinner with people or holiday dinners, and I don't do it often because I feel uncomfortable. Let's say I eat at your house. Let's say I liked the food, didn't like the food. Let's say whatever it is, now I need to use the restroom. Now I got to go to someone else's restroom, use their restroom. Now my stomach hurts, or I'm tired. I want to close my eyes. They put on the television. They want to talk. I want to go home sometimes right after that, and it's rude. So I have to stay 2 or 3 or 4 hours just because I got a free turkey dinner or a free ham dinner or whatever the hell I ate. So you know what? I'm uncomfortable with all of that. I want out. So you know what? When they invite me, guess what? I go to the deli. I eat by myself. I go home when I want to. I watch football if I want to, and no one bothers me. If you need a free meal that bad, go ahead. Go do it. But I'm not a visitor. And I think the husband has every right to get a hotel room. If he's offering to do that, and you and the children can all be in the same room and then visit your family for the week, which is nice enough. He's going to go visit your family for a whole week. He's driving all the way from Missouri to visit your family. Why don't you make a concession? Why don't you give in a little bit? He's going to see your family. Why don't you give in a little bit? But no, not in this climate, not in this scenario. He has to drive there. He has to be tortured. Everything, his Christmas has to be ruined because his wife demands it. Asshole wife.
Am I the asshole for refusing to refund my flaky friend? We're both women in our mid-20s. I love adventure and travel. My friend says she does too, at least in theory. A few years ago, we did a long-distance hike together and had an amazing time. Ever since then, we've tried to plan more trips. The problem is, she always flakes before anything gets booked. And she's always the one who brings up the ideas. After the third time, I told her honestly that I was tired of getting my hopes up, and that I wouldn't believe a trip was real until everything was booked and paid for. So when she suggested Italy, I didn't think it would actually happen. We planned casually, like always. Then, a few weeks later, she suddenly said, "Let's book the tickets." I warned her they wouldn't be refundable. She said she was sure. She sent the money, and I booked the flights, trains, and a hostel. Everything was finally locked in. I took time off work, and all we talked about was Italy. About a month ago, her tone started changing. She kept talking about money and hinting that something was wrong. I even asked if she was going to flake. She swore she wouldn't. 2 weeks before the trip, she called and said she couldn't afford to go anymore. I told her most things were already paid for, except food, but she insisted she couldn't do it. I didn't push. Before hanging up, I said I'd check if anything was refundable. The hostel is refundable, the trains are not, the flights are not, but the name on the ticket can be changed. Now I'm stuck choosing between going alone, losing a lot of money by not going at all, or using her plane ticket to bring someone else. My mom offered to come. She can't afford the trip, but if the tickets are already paid for, she'd go to keep me company. Would I be the asshole if I use my friend's ticket to bring my mom instead, without telling her? I just want to make the best of this situation without losing a friend, wasting a lot of money, or ending up alone in a foreign country. Am I the asshole?
Bring your mom. Bring your mom because she's already made you book all of this travel. And I have booked on some of these websites. They tell you they're refundable. They're not refundable, or they tell you that they'll give you a lower, they'll match the lower price. One of them is called Booking.com. Worst garbage on earth. They say they're going to give you a lower price. So I went to the Trump Tower Hotel to stay. I know it's Donald Trump, I understand, but the hotel is beautiful. And I went to the hotel to stay, and the day after I booked it, I saw a lower price. So I called Booking.com and I said, listen, it's $150 lower today. I'd like my refund. Can you just change the reservation? Oh no, you have to stay at the hotel, then bring us the receipt after the hotel stay, and then email it to us. And then by that freaking time, I never did it. I never want to. As a matter of fact, when I see Booking.com and it says the hotel on Booking.com and it says you're a genius, the only way I'm a genius is I never use them again. That shows that I'm a genius because they're a bunch of idiots. She's cost you $1,000, $2,000, and you have a right to recoup some of that money by inviting your mom. This way you could go on a trip and have fun. Going on a trip by yourself is just not the greatest. I've done it many times since I'm single. And do I enjoy it? Yes, I do, but I would rather meet people there and have someone at least have 1 or 2 meals with. They don't have to be with me day and night. I don't need a babysitter. I just need a companion to talk to in the morning. Hey, let's have breakfast, have coffee, and then leave me alone. And maybe at night, how was your day, or whatever. But I don't want a travel companion like day and night. But to leave me completely alone, would I travel like some of my friends want me to travel to various places, Indonesia, Thailand, the Vietnam, by myself. And I think, what am I going to do there once I land? What am I going to do there? I'm going to go find things to do. I'll have no one to talk to. I always want to go with someone. So the asshole is the person who canceled. Don't book with them. Don't talk. You know, I have friends of mine. I want to talk about these. There's certain people who always want to ask you about, like, they want to buy a car. And they show you this car and go, I really want to buy this car. And then you evaluate it with them, you look it over, you say, you know, it's a good car, it looks like a good purchase, take it to the mechanic, and then they never buy it. And they keep sending you oh, I got this car now. What do you think about this car? And they do this for months and months and months and months and never purchased a thing. So, and it drives me crazy. It's like, why do you bug me with your cars or the things you want to purchase and you never purchase them? So people like this, you got to kind of take them out of your life when it comes to travel. You must find a new friend. Not a good travel partner. But you did your best. You tried. You know, I've had the same belief. I've made reservations and made plans with people, and they've canceled on me at the last minute, and I've lost money on it, and it hurts.
Am I the asshole for telling friends and family I'm broke when they ask me for money? I'm a 50-year-old man. In my 20s, I loaned money to friends and family multiple times. Almost none of them paid me back unless I constantly pressured them. Some never paid me back at all. The problem was that everyone knew I made decent money and was a big saver, so whenever they were hard up, they treated me like an ATM. I'd get the sob story, followed by promises to pay me back later. Eventually, I got tired of it. I opened a new bank account. I kept only the minimum in savings and just enough in checking to cover bills and groceries, then spent it down so it always looked empty. When people asked for money, I'd say, sorry, money's tight right now. They'd call bullshit, so I'd show them the account balance. They'd leave disappointed. A few years later, people started asking where all my money went. I wasn't about to tell them the truth, so I joked that I blew it on beer, strip clubs, or casinos. They believed me, mostly because that's what they did. By the 2000s, they were actually lecturing me about being irresponsible with money. Later, I got married and told my wife the whole story. She thought it was hilarious. Then, one Halloween, my sister made a comment about how glad she was that I'd finally learned to be responsible with money. My wife laughed and accidentally told her the truth. My sister confronted me and I admitted it. She immediately asked me for money. I said no. She told the rest of the family. Some think it's funny. Others say I'm a selfish, stingy asshole. A few even asked how much money I actually have, and I told them it's none of their business. So, am I the asshole?
No, you're not the asshole. Number one, a loan. When you loan your friends money, I am one person in my whole lifetime has paid me back the money they owed me. One person. That means all the loans that I've given over my lifetime have been money that have been thrown in the garbage with these people, including thousands of dollars I lent to people who were neighbors, clients. Never have I received a return of money. As a matter of fact, one guy called me begging me for money, begging me, telling me he was going to he's going to lose his job at Uber if I didn't lend him this money. I'll take care of you. I'll drive you to the airport all the time. It was only about $600. The word loan is a lie. Loan is a lie. Remember that. When you loan money to someone, it's them lying about them returning it. It's a gift. And so they will use the word, oh, loan me money, Jeffrey. Loan me money. Loan me. And then you loan it to them and they disappear. Guess what? Money is gone and the friendship is gone. So you know what? When you want to borrow money, go to the bank, take a credit card, borrow it from there, but don't ask me. So I think he's right. I think his wife betrayed him a little bit by telling him about his hoax. She should have just shut up. I mean, that's your husband. What are you going to do, turn him into his family? Now they're all going to drive him crazy? That was a little bit of an error, sweetheart. And, I understand being honest, open, transparent. I'm really big on that type of character, but it doesn't work. So I'm going to say, I had one person in my life who pulled up to my office in a Rolls Royce and said to me, Jeff, Mr. Flightman, I need to borrow $600 for some reason. I'll give it to you later on today or tomorrow. And he had a Rolls Royce. So I figured it didn't make sense to me, but he came from a rich family. So I thought, okay, I'll lend him the $600. But I made it in my mind, and it was something I thought to myself, that if this guy in a Rolls Royce doesn't pay me back this $600, I will never lend him or never lend money again. And this person or his family was a client of mine in the past, and I did know them. Do you know that after I gave him that money, I never saw him again? Never heard from him again? And he pulled up in a Rolls Royce. So just remember, these scam artists, it doesn't matter what they look like, what they're out there, you're never getting your money back. And they'll act like they don't even know who you are after you call them. They'll block you, act like you're rude by asking for their money back. Don't lend money. Keep the money in your own pocket. Everybody, this is America. Get a job, make money. That's why people come here. People don't come here, well, sometimes I think they come here for everything free, but people come here to make money. That's what America's about. We have jobs all over the place. There's help wanted signs at Del Taco, Taco Bell, everywhere, paying $20 an hour. Get a job, work like everybody else. Or how about this one? Live within your means. You don't need a Gucci belt. You don't need a Prada bag. You don't need Hermes. You don't need anything. You know what? If you live within your means, it's easy. For instance, when I am hungry, I don't think to myself, let me go to Morton's Steakhouse today and get myself a $150 meal. I think, okay, Chipotle, Jersey Mike's, pizza place. I don't think like that. If you think like high-end stuff is important, like fancy jewelry, you're going to always be broke and always be asking for money. So live within your means. As a matter of fact, live below your means and you'll have less stress. First one with the wife. I should have came home. That's your kids. Your husband's trying to make money. You're staying out with your girlfriend. I understand she's grieving, but come on, phone calls work. You could stay on the phone with her for 8 hours. Try keep your phone charged and talk. It doesn't cost any more money, and you can do FaceTime. And then to be pissed off that your husband dropped off the kids, that is really. Why would you be pissed off about your kids being dropped off when your husband needed to go to work? That doesn't make sense either. I mean, maybe they're doing drugs or something. There could be some underlying story there that we don't know. They could be using drugs, could be, who knows, maybe they're sleeping in the same bed. I taught tennis for a while in my life, and I had a client, his name was Vinnie. One of the nicest lessons, he was part of my league, and he was always concerned about his wife. He was an RN. And I remember him saying to me, Jeff, my wife is out all night long. I don't know where she's going or what she's doing. I'm really concerned about it, and I don't know if she's got another boyfriend or whatever. I'm going to follow her or have her followed. Do you know he had her followed? And guess what he found? She was cheating on him with another woman. Now, of course, I don't care who you cheat on. If you cheat on a woman, a man, it makes no difference of sexuality. But he was in shock because he was an old school Italian guy from Brooklyn, you know what I mean? One of those hardcore Italian dudes. And he couldn't believe that his wife was sleeping with another woman and now with him. And he was heartbroken. But what can I say? Things happen. And this could be something that's going on there too. Because the amount of time, 30 days sleeping over, it doesn't seem innocent. There's got to be something behind it.